is a beautiful day in Paris, and on this Saturday, it is Championship Saturday on the red clay at Roland Garros on what has been truly a remarkable and tumultuous 2 weeks here in Paris in the second Grand Slam of the year. It has been one of the wildest rides in tennis history, and now after 2 weeks of this roller coaster, we get set to crown champions this weekend. Starting today, it's the women's final on court Philippe Chatrier, and what a final matchup it is, as the teenager Mirra Andreeva makes her Grand Slam final debut against a qualifier that few people knew before it all started a couple of weeks ago. Maja Chwalinska, who has captured the imaginations of so many in the tennis world. These two to meet in a once-in-a-lifetime kind of Grand Slam final. It all happens on the red clay in Paris that has been so unpredictable from the start. Hello, one and all. I'm Matthew Owens. Welcome to Paris. Thanks for having us in for the women's final at Roland Garros. Again, it has truly been an incredible couple of weeks here in this tournament, and nothing really has spoken to the madness of this tournament like this final that we have here before you here today. Both on the men and the women's side, it has been upset heavy, it has been tumultuous, it has been so wildly entertaining, and now we approach finals weekend where only one of the four total finalists between the women's final today and the men's final tomorrow has ever been in a Grand Slam final. Let's start with Mirra Andreeva, the 19-year-old. This is no real surprise, despite all of the surprises and upsets of this tournament. This is no real surprise to anyone that she is here. She is still just 19 years old, but it feels like that she has been on the big stage of tennis for a long time now. She's been a prodigy that everyone has anticipated breaking through on a scene like this at some point or another. Already at age 19, she made her third trip to the French Open quarterfinals this year, second time making at least the semis here at Roland Garros. Now she's in the final of a slam for the first time ever. She's played prodigiously throughout this entire tournament. She's dropped only one set. She's gone through quite the run of players to get to this point. Did drop a set in her second round matchup, but that's the only set she's lost. Since then, she's mowed through the competition, beating Marie Bouzkova in the third round, Jill Teichmann in the fourth, then quarterfinal, a romping win over Sorana Cirstea, dropping just 3 games, and here on Thursday, dropping only 4 games total to Marta Kostyuk in the semifinals. Andreeva has been spectacular all season long on the WTA Tour, and particularly on clay. She leads the WTA Tour in total match wins this year with 35, and 3/5 of those, 21 of the 35 match wins that she has come on clay. She was able to get the victory over Kostyuk, who had beaten her on clay just a few weeks back. She got the revenge win there, and now Mirra Andreeva is into the final of a Grand Slam for the first time ever. That's the more straightforward story of this final. The story that has not been straightforward, that no one could have ever dreamt of, is her opponent from Poland, Maja Chwalinska. And don't feel bad if you had never heard that name before this run started, because not many could say that they have. Chwalinska had to go through qualifying, winning 3 qualifying matches just to get in to the main draw. First time ever making the main draw here at Roland Garros. Third time ever making the main draw at a Grand Slam. And ever since her run through qualifying, she's been this magical magician kind of player, beating Qinwen Zheng in the first round, the player that won Olympic gold medal on these Roland Garros grounds 2 years ago. She beat Qinwen Zheng 6-4 and 6-love in the first round. That started the run. Ever since, it's been like a snowball going downhill and gaining momentum, and she has beaten terrific players. Almost every step of the way, she's beaten a big-name player, beating Zheng in the first round. In the second round, beating Elise Mertens 6-4 and 6-love. Coming from a set down in the third round to beat Maria Sakkari, then beating the French woman that the home crowd was behind, Diane Paris, in the fourth round. A quarterfinal win over Anna Kalinskaya, and then in the semifinals, very tight match, 7-6, 6-4 win here on Thursday against Schneider of Russia. So on Chwalinska goes to this final that no one could have ever dreamt of. Her story has been talked about worldwide, about making it to the second week of a slam and struggling to get clean clothes. She doesn't have a sponsor. She didn't have a hotel room for the second week. She had to pay out of pocket for the second week of hotel stay. She's ranked 114th in the world. She is guaranteed, win or lose today, to be up into the top 25 in the world rankings by the end of this magical run. So Maja Chwalinska has announced herself and made her name known over these last few weeks. And I say few weeks because it hasn't been two for her. Today is her 10th match in the last 19 days here at Roland Garros, getting through qualifying. She has spent nearly 11 hours on the court through those 10 matches. Is there more energy in the tank for Chwalinska as the decided underdog here, taking on Mirra Andreeva in this French Open final? We will soon find out. We are so excited to have you with us. Our first tennis match here on this channel. And boy, it could be very memorable. It's the left-handed wizard, Maja Chwalinska, against the teenage prodigy, Mirra Andreeva. Women's final at Roland Garros is coming up in a matter of moments. welcome you back on this championship Saturday at Roland Garros. The women's final on the red clay set to take place. Mirra Andreeva and Maja Chwalinska to do battle in the women's final. A first-time Grand Slam champion to be crowned, as both are in their first Grand Slam final. For Maja Chwalinska, trying to become just the second qualifier to ever win a major title in the Open era, joining Emma Raducanu, who did it, of course, famously in 2021 in New York at the U.S. Open. Raducanu was ranked 150th in the world prior to her run into superstardom at the U.S. Open 5 years ago. Chwalinska coming in ranked 114th before this French Open. Matthew Owens back here with you and ready to go for the women's final here at Roland Garros. The weather has been a major talking point the entire two-week run here in Paris. Started out with those hot, steamy conditions that challenged even the best in the world. It has cooled down massively. Temperatures in the mid-60s, that's Fahrenheit. I have no idea what Celsius is. Mid-60s Fahrenheit today. It is windy. It's been windy the last handful of days. The roof is open for the women's final inside court Philippe Chatrier, which will get started here in a matter of moments. So, the story of Maja Chwalinska, who so many did not know when this thing started 2 weeks ago. All of a sudden, she is becoming one of the most talked about tennis players in the world. On the other end, Mirra Andreeva, as mentioned, a teenage prodigy. Everyone has been expecting results like this from Mirra for many years now. As I said, she's still a teenager at 19, but it still feels like she's been in the center stage of the tennis world for such a long time. She broke in at such a young age. Today she would become the first teenager to win this Roland Garros title since Monica Seles did it as a teenager in 3 consecutive years, 1990, 91, and 92. So Andreeva and Chwalinska, this matchup that surely no one would have ever predicted before the start of this tournament. Just moments away from finally getting underway. It has been chaos on the clay ever since the start of this tournament. And now we crown a new women's Grand Slam champion on this very sunny and windy day, where court Philippe Chatrier is packed up, which is good to see, of course, as it rarely has been the last 2 weeks. Warm-ups complete, and we get ready to go. If you still have not watched Maja Chwalinska play over these 2 weeks, first off, where have you been? Secondly, she is a crafty, crafty left-hander, and has been so terrific to watch. What will the nerves be like for both of these players? Chwalinska will serve first to begin the final. In the near court, toss up, serve down, and into the net from Chwalinska, the 24-year-old from Poland. Second serve from Chwalinska is also into the net, and a double fault to start. And as I said, where are the nerves? Again, both of these players have never been on a stage like this, but Andreeva's been preparing for it for years. Chwalinska could not have prepared for this. Serve into the backhand of Andreeva. Starts the first rally of the day. High looping cross-court forehand from Chwalinska. Andreeva gets it back. Big backhand by Chwalinska. Andreeva on the defensive. Throws up a lob. Letting it drop is Chwalinska. Overhead up the middle. Andreeva's there to slice it back. Off forehand from Chwalinska into the deuce court. Lands just inside the baseline and skitters past Andreeva. It's a winner for Chwalinska, striking her first of the day. A lot of Polish fans in the seats probably booked tickets to today thinking they would see Iga Świątek. Instead, they see Maja Chwalinska, who catches the ball toss at 15-all here. Chwalinska serves to the forehand of Andreeva. Good deep return up the middle, but just landed long of the baseline. She returned it right to the shoelaces of Chwalinska, who, as we mentioned earlier, has beaten only really good players on this incredible run. And after qualifying, this is her 10th match in 19 days. Serve to the backhand of Andreeva. Sharp cross-court return. Forehand up the middle. Chwalinska. Up the line goes Andreeva. Slice backhand up the middle by Chwalinska. Andreeva picks it up. Big backhand up the middle. Chwalinska. Andreeva gets it back. Up the middle once again goes Chwalinska. Cross-court the forehand Andreeva. Chwalinska pulls out the drop shot that's been so deadly in this tournament, but Andreeva gets there and completes the passing shot winner up the line. It's 30-all. That two-handed disguised drop shot from Chwalinska has been spectacular to see. That time hung up in the air a bit more than we normally see from her drops, allowing Andreeva plenty of time to get there and put it away. Down the line she went with a backhand passing shot winner. Andreeva into this opening return game. Chwalinska serves to the backhand of Andreeva. Cross-court the return. Cross-court backhand Chwalinska. Big forehand Andreeva. There's the drop shot again. Chwalinska. Andreeva gets there to it this time, but stashes it into the bottom of the net. She did get to it in time again, but not as much time afforded to her this time. How big it would be for Chwalinska to hold her serve in this opening game, just to settle those butterflies that have to have wings as large as a jet right now. Serve to the forehand of Andreeva. Backpedaling forehand up the middle by Chwalinska. Driven backhand by Andreeva. Slice back by Chwalinska. Andreeva goes cross-court to forehand. Looping backhand by Chwalinska lands long. And we're at deuce in this opening game of the final. Chwalinska at the near end wearing the yellow sleeveless kit as she has this entire tournament, with the black skirt billowing in the breeze. Big serve here goes to the forehand of Andreeva. Scooped back up the middle and deep. Backpedaling forehand by Chwalinska. Off forehand winner from Andreeva. And she'll have the first break point of the final. Goes inside out with the forehand, strikes it clean. And the 19-year-old, speaking of settling nerves, could she get a break of serve here? Hit that one with the ball at her earlobe height just about. Chwalinska serves, kicks it out wide, sliced back by Andreeva. Chwalinska charges in, forehand up the line. Volley hit by Chwalinska, drop volley off the Andreeva forehand. And Chwalinska fights off the break point. Well, the return was short from Andreeva. It was a great sliced second serve by Chwalinska. Gave her the opportunity to come into the net. Deuce again. Serve to the backhand of Andreeva. Slice backhand by Chwalinska forces Andreeva back. Backhand up the line. Cross-court Chwalinska into the deuce court. Steered back by Andreeva. Loop to the baseline of the backhand Chwalinska. Andreeva's there to drive a forehand. Cross-court backhand Chwalinska to the forehand of Andreeva. Into the deuce court they go. Now the slice backhand. Oh, it's just gonna loft wide from Chwalinska. And another opportunity at a break point here. Can Chwalinska fight through another one here? Lengthy opening game to start the final. Toss up, serve down. Good depth on the serve. Short ball back by Andreeva. Forehand winner up the line from Chwalinska into the deuce court, as she saved a couple of break points. And the Polish crowd, plenty of them here, as I mentioned, would have thought they would have seen Iga Świątek on this championship Saturday, rooting on the lesser-known Chwalinska. Deuce again, as you see. Chwalinska fighting through in an opening game that's into its 7th minute. Up with the toss, down with the serve out wide. Andreeva, sharp forehand reply. Sliced back by Chwalinska, picked up, looping forehand by Andreeva. Cross-court backhand, hammered back by Chwalinska. Big forehand Andreeva, looped back by Chwalinska. Up the line backhand Andreeva. Chwalinska on the sprint, hoisting it back. Off backhand by Andreeva. Cross-court the backhand Chwalinska. Up the line Andreeva. Chwalinska on the sprint, loops it back. Short ball, Andreeva gobbles it up and hits a forehand winner up the line. Chwalinska will get quite a bit of height on those balls in the rally to try to give herself some time. She is a great road-running defensive player. Andreeva with a third chance to break. Chwalinska into the service motion, falls into a serve out wide, backhand driven return Andreeva, looped back by Chwalinska, big forehand up the middle by Andreeva, steered on back by Chwalinska. Andreeva reaches up for that backhand, it's short, cross-court backhand Chwalinska. Andreeva on the defensive, gets it back deep, middle of the court from Chwalinska, and a backhand stepped into and ripped for a winner by Andreeva, who gets the opening break, and Mirra Andreeva straight away grabs the lead in this Roland Garros final. So a good start for the teenager, the first teenager to reach the Roland Garros final since Coco Gauff. That was only 4 years ago. Again, a win would make her the first teenager to win this Roland Garros crown since Monica Seles in 1992. Of course, as a teenager, Seles won this title 3 years in a row, 90, 91, and 92. So we mentioned earlier, if you weren't with us, Andreeva leads the WTA Tour this year in both match wins total and match wins on clay. 21 wins on clay already this year with a dazzling 21-3 record. 60% of her match wins this year have come on clay. She serves for the first time out wide. Chwalinska short ball back. Andreeva off forehand. Chwalinska, oh boy, passes her with a forehand winner up the line. Andreeva had come to the net. And that was the right decision after that great opening serve, but Chwalinska strikes a backhand winner up the line. Andreeva has spent marketably less time on court in this run than Chwalinska has. First serve misses here from Andreeva, who has not dropped but one set in this tournament, and that came in the second round. Second serve is deep to the forehand of Chwalinska, loops back. Lining up across court forehand, Andreeva strikes it wide. And Chwalinska with the door open here in her opening return game at Love 30. Andreeva, the number 8 seed, as you see, for this tournament. Serves up the middle. Chwalinska swats it back short. Cross-court forehand Andreeva. Looped on back by Chwalinska. Backpedaling forehand up the line of the deuce court from Andreeva. Defensive backhand from Chwalinska. Looped on back by Andreeva. Stepping into a backhand Chwalinska. Baseline rally here. Deuce court from Andreeva. Knifed back by Chwalinska. Cross-court forehand Andreeva picking up the pace a bit. Now goes up the line with a forehand. Scooped back defensively by Chwalinska. Off backhand Andreeva. Chwalinska on the defensive. Stepping middle of the court. Andreeva, oh, disguises the drop shot beautifully and hits it for a winner. Chwalinska wasn't expecting that to come her way. Do anticipate a lot of lengthy rallies like that in this final. Who wins more of the rallies up over 8 and 10 shots? probably going to win the match. That last one, 17. Andreeva serves to the forehand of Chwalinska. Flexed up the line by Andreeva, sprinting to get it to a defensive backhand. Chwalinska. Andreeva goes with an off backhand, and she misfires it wide, and Chwalinska has a couple of break right back points. Andreeva claiming the early break, now having to stave off some break points. Not wasting any time, slicing that serve wide and missing. Second serve, Andreeva. Puts it into the backhand of Chwalinska. Sharp backhand return. Up the line, Andreeva. Up the line, Chwalinska just misfires the forehand long. Andreeva saving one break point with another one to come. Of course, Chwalinska saved a couple of break points in her opening service game, but was unable to wrap it up. Sun shining down, mid-60-degree day in Paris. Is windy as it has been the last few days. Andreeva serves out wide, misses long. Second serve goes to the forehand of Chwalinska, lines up the return. Andreeva lunges at a backhand. Cross-court backhand, Chwalinska. Andreeva gets to it. Now Chwalinska up the line, short ball with the forehand. Looped back by Andreeva. Backpedaling forehand up the line, ad court from Chwalinska. Hoisted back up by Andreeva. Flexed up the line with a forehand by Chwalinska. Boy, the height on these balls in the rally is incredible. Off forehand, Chwalinska. Andreeva loops it back deep into the deuce court corner. Chwalinska up the line. Andreeva wanted to come to the net. Sharp angle on the backhand cross court. Chwalinska's there. Up the line. Andreeva misses long. And Chwalinska gets the break back. And that's the kind of final we're in for here on this championship Saturday. Well, maybe that will settle Maja down a bit. Although I say that, she has looked unflappable this entire run. You wouldn't know that she was ranked outside the top 100 in the world coming into this run. At the far end, she serves up the tee, and it spins wide. 13 minutes to complete the first two games of this final. Those lengthy rallies and games going deep. Second serve is also just glided long, so Chwalinska with a double fault to start each of her two service games. First time a server has been at that end of the court today. Serves out wide. It's there to the Andreeva backhand. Forehand steered up the middle. Chwalinska flexed on bat by Andreeva. Steered short on the backhand by Chwalinska. Up the line, Andreeva. Chwalinska gets it back. Wynn took that ball. Andreeva caught her off guard, and Chwalinska's able to fire a forehand winner up the line. And the wind definitely caught that ball. We were talking about the height of these balls during these rallies. And if the wind grows heavier, it's going to affect a lot with those balls that high in the air throughout this match if it stays that way, which it promises to do so, you'd say. Chwalinska serves to the backhand of Andreeva. Chwalinska cross-court a backhand. Andreeva backpedals. Forehand short ball. Chwalinska up the middle with the forehand. Cross-court the backhand. Andreeva. Deep by Chwalinska on the forehand. Ad court from Andreeva. Up the line. Chwalinska. Andreeva off forehand. Slice back defensively. Up to the net. Andreeva stashes away a backhand winner up the line of the deuce court. As she charges the net with good timing. Of course, when Iga Swiatek broke onto the scene in that weird 2020 French Open, she was an unknown prior to that run. She was ranked 54th in the world before winning this title in 2020. Elena Ostapenko was ranked just inside the top 50 when she won this title in 2017. Serve out wide from Chwalinska, missed by a lot. Nearly missed the doubles alley. Sun beams down on court Philippe Chatrier. Second serve from Chwalinska. Puts it into the backhand of Andreeva. Cross-court return. Chwalinska on the sprint. Loops it back. It's long. And Andreeva's going to have 2 more break points here. Might be speaking more of hold points rather than break points being important here in the early stages of this final. Two chances for Andreeva to get a second break in as many return games. Chwalinska at the far end. Toss up, serve down. Missed it long. Again, 10th match in the last 19 days here on these grounds for Maja, who hoists the toss up in the air, serves out wide. Andreeva gets it back. Slice backhand by Chwalinska. Andreeva picks it up. Cross-court to backhand dug out by Chwalinska. Andreeva goes cross-court. Slice back by Chwalinska. Andreeva, short ball with the backhand. Cross-court backhand Chwalinska. Good depth on the forehand from Andreeva. Chwalinska backpedals. Ooh, the off backhand, though, drifts wide from Andreeva. And Chwalinska's already saved 3 of 4 break points as the flags tell the tale of the wind as they are all whipping around Court Philippe Chatrier. Second chance for Andreeva to break again. Chwalinska will catch the ball toss here. She would like the wind to die down a bit. Here comes the second serve. It is, or the first serve rather, is long. Now here comes the second. Chance for Andreeva to attack on this break point. A second serve. See if she does. Chwalinska puts it into the backhand of Andreeva. Sharp return cross court. Looped back by Chwalinska, middle of the court. Backhand in the deuce court from Andreeva. Steered back by Chwalinska. Cross-court forehand Andreeva. Up the middle from Chwalinska. Andreeva stashes it into the ad-court corner. Cross-court Chwalinska. Andreeva scoop forehand. Chwalinska, good approach shot. She's at the net. Andreeva lob. Chwalinska has to backpedal. Lets it bounce. Oh, and then cranks a forehand well wide. And Andreeva's got a second break in as many return games. Mirra Andreeva out in front. And she'll look to consolidate the break, which she was unable to do in her first service game. Women's final at Roland Garros will return in a moment. A couple of breaks of serve for Mirra Andreeva to start this Roland Garros women's final. Still searching for her first hold of serve from either player. Andreeva coming off the break will look to consolidate this time around. Andreeva serving at the far end, goes out wide. Chwalinska forks it back. Backpedaling forehand by Andreeva, and she misses it long. Certainly conditions are tricky with that wind, as we talked about. It is cool, with temperatures in the mid-60s and that wind as heavy as it is. Andreeva hits the tee on the serve. Chwalinska swats it back. Big forehand up the line by Andreeva. Chwalinska defends it back. Now a short ball by Andreeva, throwing her body into a backhand. Chwalinska up the line. Andreeva. Chwalinska scoops a forehand wide. That was a terrific serve from Andreeva. Serves here at 15 all. Goes out wide. Missed it long. Chwalinska dawdling back and forth well beyond the baseline, all the way in the doubles alley. She expects Andreeva to go wide with this serve as she recoils off a caught ball toss, does Andreeva. Now serves, and again going for that mark out wide, misses again, and a double fault gives Chwalinska yet again an open door here in this return game. Andreeva serves up the tee and missed again. 3 consecutive missed serves from the heavy favorite in this final. Second serve is there to the forehand of Chwalinska. Backpedaling forehand, off forehand from Andreeva. It's really good. Opens up the court. Chwalinska's unable to get it back. All here. And I'm not... Normally you would see a start to a match like this and you'd say, oh my goodness, 2 players are extremely nervous. I think it might be more the conditions than anything. Serve out wide. Chwalinska able to thrust a backhand return. And up the line, Andreeva misses that backhand. And Chwalinska again with a chance to break right back. Just as she did in her first return game after dropping serve. Andreeva misses the tee as she goes long. Oh, and the second serve is into the bottom of the net. It wasn't anywhere close. And Chwalinska breaks back again as Andreeva will go to her chair here. And I think she wants a new racket. 4 games without a hold of serve. So Chwalinska will pick it up again, and still on our search for the first hold of serve of this final. Chwalinska at the near end, serves to the forehand of Andreeva, spooned back up the middle. Cross-court backhand, Chwalinska up the line. Andreeva has the forehand drift wide. Talked about the time on court between these two. Massively different, including Chwalinska's 3 qualifying matches. She's been on court for over 15 hours. Serve kicked into the backhand of Andreeva, who goes wide with it cross court. 15 hours and 44 minutes on court for Chwalinska, including her qualifying matches. Andreeva has been on court for basically just half that amount of time, 8 hours 14. Here's Chwalinska, 30 love. I think this is the first time a server's made it to that point so far. Serve to the forehand of Andreeva. Very passive return, starts the rally. Two-handed drop shot, Chwalinska. Andreeva gets to it. And at the net, Chwalinska with a volley lob loops over the head of Andreeva and drops behind her for a winner, and it's 40 love. And we do have our first hold point, would you believe? Chwalinska with the good hand-eye coordination there at the net. And beautiful touch as she's displayed this entire tournament. Will it be the qualifier that gets the first hold of serve here? Serves to the backhand of Andreeva, who lunges at it. Cross-court forehand, Chwalinska into the ad-court corner. Andreeva gets it back. Off backhand, Chwalinska. Steered up the line, Andreeva. Backhand right back up the line, Chwalinska. Andreeva swats it back. And then Chwalinska goes back door with a forehand winner cross-court into the ad-court corner. She holds to love. And now Maja Chwalinska with the lead in this stunning Grand Slam final appearance from the qualifier from Poland. Can Andreeva come back? She looks shaky at the start. We'll return. If you were tuning into this final to see entertaining tennis to cap an entertaining 2 weeks, you are getting it. Andreeva serves to the backhand of Chwalinska. Cross-court, the return. Squash shot by Andreeva up the line. Chwalinska gets it back. Then Andreeva hoisting up an elevatoring lob. Chwalinska backpedals to get to it, but then chops the forehand long. So the first 4 games of this final resulted in a break of serve. Chwalinska just held at love, the first hold of the match. And now if she can break the Andreeva serve again, she'd be well in front here in this final. Andreeva's first serve misses. This is spectacular to watch. Tricky tennis right now. Andreeva serves to the forehand of Chwalinska up the middle of the return. Backhand by Andreeva, middle of the court. Stabbed backhand by Chwalinska. Cross-court forehand Andreeva. Chwalinska in control at this point. Now loops a backhand up the line. Andreeva backpedals. Hoisting that backhand middle of the court. Cross-court forehand Chwalinska on the attack. High ball from Andreeva. Looped back up the middle. Andreeva has to fight that off with a backhand. And Chwalinska steps into a backhand and rips it into the net. She was in control of that point during a couple of stages of the rally. I think that's the first time Chwalinska's hit the net in a rally. .30 love. Here's Andreeva, high ball toss, serve down out wide. Chwalinska cross-court return with the backhand up the middle. Andreeva again going backdoor. Chwalinska. Andreeva full stretch to get it back short off forehand. Chwalinska, and Andreeva scoops that forehand wide. Just about a half hour into what is turning into an enthralling final here. Andreeva goes wide and misses her first serve. Here comes the second, wasting no time. Slows it down a lot up the tee. Chwalinska gets it back, and then a ball that seemingly never drops from Andreeva to a deep forehand from Chwalinska. Again, Andreeva throws it high into the sky. Forehand, Chwalinska, middle of the court. Andreeva scoops it back. Oh my goodness, Chwalinska's forehand even higher, maybe pierced a cloud. Andreeva gets it back. This rally continues. Chwalinska two-handed slice to a cross-court backhand. Andreeva. Chwalinska gets it back. Lashed with an off forehand by Andreeva. Chwalinska short ball. Andreeva picks up the pace cross-court forehand. Defended back by Chwalinska. Stab cross-court. Andreeva with a backhand winner. Turned back the hands of time on this final. This looks like something from decades gone by. But it looks really, it's terrifically fun. But goodness, it's wait until the ball drops to see how long it takes. Andreeva with an ace up the tee secures her first hold of serve. We don't look to see many aces today. Andreeva pounds that one up the middle. And She holds serve for the first time in this final. We're at 3 games all, middle portion's first set. You'd have to say, scoreboard says it's even. And the play that we're watching, this is pretty even match right now. Chwalinska misses her first serve as she goes too strong. Second serve from Maja. It's there to the forehand of Andreeva. Cross-court backhand whipped by Chwalinska. Forehand off the let court, Andreeva. Chwalinska slices a backhand up the line. Slice back by Andreeva. Chwalinska digs it out. Forehand up the line. Chwalinska to the net. Andreeva with a lob, and Chwalinska gobbles up the overhead strike. Really good choreography of that point there from Chwalinska. Going up the line with a slice, then going up the opposite line to open it up. Get Andreeva on the defensive. Chwalinska at the far end. Toss up, serve down. Backhand reply by Andreeva cross court. Up the middle from Chwalinska. Whipped back up the line, Andreeva. Looping backhand, Chwalinska. Cross court backhand, Andreeva. And Chwalinska long with the forehand up the line in the deuce court. Three all, 15 all, as you see. Incredibly entertaining start to this final. Wind really picking up here, and Chwalinska trying to wait it out as best she can. Now starts the service motion, comes down, and good depth on it. Andreeva stokes it back up the line. Goes Chwalinska, cross-court backhand Andreeva. Chwalinska short ball back. Andreeva backing up the line. She's at the net. A lob thrown up by Chwalinska, but Andreeva's there, and she guides that overhead away into the open corner for a winner. $15-30. Chwalinska really fighting the wind in this service game. Again, she stops the service motion to just try to gather herself. Now serves and misses long. Second serve from Chwalinska. Down to the backhand of Andreeva. Sharp angled return, but it drifts wide on her. Not the start that Mirra would have hoped for, and maybe a lot of people thought Andreeva would have here. Wow, as the wind really bolsters up and now kicks some clay into the air. Andreeva has to turn around with dirt starting to fly in her face. Gonna have a sandstorm at this rate. Here's Andreeva in these tricky conditions. Puts the serve into the forehand of Andreeva. Cross court the backhand Chwalinska. Short ball up the middle Andreeva. Picked up and sent long from Chwalinska. And there's a sign of frustration there from Chwalinska. She slaps her thigh with her left hand after that miss. Not sure if she just misstruck it or if the wind took that and pushed it. But a chance to break again for Andreeva. She's broken the Chwalinska serve twice already. Serve sliding up the tee, misses. Chance for Andreeva to attack a second serve here. In a match where the tactics are running wild, Chwalinska puts it into the backhand of Andreeva. Thrusted back cross court by Chwalinska. Steered up the middle on the forehand Andreeva. Hammered backhand Chwalinska, who now slices it two-handed. Slice back by Andreeva. Dug out by Chwalinska off forehand. Short ball Andreeva. Slice backhand is into the net from Chwalinska. Andreeva is broken again. She reclaims the lead in this back and forth seesaw affair, starting the women's final here at Roland Garros. Can Andreeva take advantage of the break? We'll find out in a moment. Back here in the women's final at Roland Garros. If you're new to the Ultimate Sports Media Network and you're a tennis fan and you're just finding us, if you're just finding us in general, glad to have you with us. If you do like what you see and you hear, certainly hit the subscribe button as Andreeva serves out wide. Return by Chwalinska, and it's taken out of the air by Andreeva with an overhead backhand. Chwalinska throws up a lob. Andreeva waits for it to drop her overhead. Chwalinska fights it off, gets it back. It lands just inside the baseline. Now we're back into a baseline-to-baseline rally here, but Andreeva's forehand from a mile beyond the baseline misses well short of the net. You just never know what you're going to see from point to point in this one. My goodness. Andreeva trying to consolidate after a break for the first time. Serve and a return up the line by Chwalinska, and thundering forehand power from Andreeva cross court as she strikes a winner. And now the favorite is starting to impose her will just a bit here. She's won 8 of the last 10 points. At the far end serves. Slice return from Chwalinska. Andreeva digs it out with a forehand cross court that has just marginally missed. .30-15 serve from Andreeva. It's there to the forehand of Chwalinska, who sends a high looping ball middle of the court. Andreeva attacks it. Cross-court forehand. Chwalinska up the line. Andreeva with the backhand. Chwalinska bats it back. Forwarded by Andreeva. Off forehand by Chwalinska. And then the backhand by Andreeva. Oh, boy, as that slid wide. Chwalinska let it go, but it's called good. It's on the line from Andreeva, and it's a winner. Chwalinska pulled the racket head back. Did not play it as she thought it was going wide. And Andreeva with a chance to consolidate a break. Serves out wide. Chwalinska stashes it back. Cross-court backhand Andreeva. Chwalinska forehand up the line. Cross-court from Andreeva. Cross-court backhand Chwalinska. Looped back Andreeva with a flat ball. We haven't seen a lot of those in this set. Chwalinska stretches out to defend it back. Cross-court forehand Andreeva. Cooked up the middle by Chwalinska. Short ball Andreeva. Drop shot. Chwalinska hangs up. Andreeva gets to it. Stokes it back. A lob by Chwalinska. And lunging back with an overhead swing. Andreeva strikes the winner. Consolidates the break. And goes ahead 5-3. Drop shot by Chwalinska. Hung in the air. Gave Andreeva time to get to it. Then they were almost nose to nose at the net at the end of that rally, and Andreeva had to do well sliding into that drop shot to not hit the net with the front foot. She's a game away from this opening set now. A long and winding road of this first set. It only took an hour 16 for Andreeva to win her semifinal against Marta Kostyuk here on Thursday. It took much longer than that for Chwalinska, whose first set against Diana Schneider took longer than the match did. For Andreeva, first serve misses into the net from Chwalinska. Hour 16 was the Andreeva semifinal. 2 hours 10 was Chwalinska's, who serves to the forehand of Andreeva, who makes the return. Cross-court backhand Chwalinska. Andreeva gets it back, and then Chwalinska just kind of hacking at that slice backhand, misses it into the net. Andreeva has broken the Chwalinska serve 3 times in this set. If she does it here, she wins a wild and woolly first set of Grand Slam final tennis. First serve is netted from Chwalinska. Who again pauses just to wait out a gust of wind. Now reloads, serves to the backhand of Andreeva, who makes the return. Chwalinska backhand up the middle. Oh, and Andreeva is starting to feel it now. Hits a forehand winner up the line, clinches the fist afterwards. And Andreeva has started to find a groove. Chwalinska needs a big response here. And again, she seems to be growing more and more frustrated with the conditions here. Serves up the tee. Andreeva shovels the return back. Cross-court backhand Chwalinska. Forehand of Andreeva. Up the middle from Chwalinska. Andreeva steps into a big forehand. Chwalinska defends it back, but it's long. And set points coming for Mirra Andreeva. She's got 3 of them. Mirra Andreeva. First set in her grasp. Chwalinska toss up, serve down. Backhand reply, driven up the middle, Andreeva. Looped forehand, Chwalinska. Off forehand, Andreeva. Chwalinska on the sprint, gets it back. Cross-court backhand winner from Andreeva. She breaks to love and claims the opening set of this French Open final. A wild opening set. Back and forth seesaw affair. But the decided favorite in this final comes through with a big finish, winning the last 3 games of the set. And Mirra Andreeva out in front, looking for her first Grand Slam title. And the finish line is now right in front of her. Chwalinska will look to respond as she has all tournament long. Second set right around the corner. Stay with us. 22-minute first set goes the way of Mirra Andreeva. The 19-year-old takes the first set, as you see, 6-3 over the qualifier from Poland, Maja Chwalinska. And now we get ready for the second set. Andreeva won the last 8 points of the set, won the last 3 games from 3-all. 6 breaks of serve in that first set. Andreeva broke the Chwalinska serve 4 times. Andreeva herself was broken twice. Andreeva with 14 winners to 12 unforced errors. Chwalinska's ratio on the other side wasn't nearly as good. 8 winners to 14 unforced. And the really striking number from that first set, Chwalinska winning only 30% of points on her second serve, only 45% on her first serve. Andreeva was over 50% on both. Andreeva will serve to start the second set. Serves out wide. Chwalinska shovels the return back. Spirited on the backhand by Andreeva. Up the middle, Chwalinska. Off backhand again by Andreeva. Flat ball from Chwalinska. Andreeva tries to dig it out, but slices her forehand wide. I'd have to say that in a match like this where you have a heavy favorite that struggled early, then won the first set, but had to work for it, that Andreeva, as she serves here to the backhand of Chwalinska, looped backhand by Andreeva. Chwalinska lets it drop, hits a backhand up the line in the ad court. Back up the middle from Andreeva. Powering up on the forehand, Chwalinska. Flat ball, Andreeva. Cross-court backhand, Chwalinska comes to the net. Oh, but stokes the volley into the net. Just to finish that point, you'd think now Andreeva may fly away to a pretty easy and quick second set, and that may end up happening, but I don't know. Chwalinska has shown a lot of fight. As I said earlier, has been unflappable this entire run. I don't think she's just going to hit a wall here. Andreeva serves to the Chwalinska backhand cross-court. Forehand Andreeva. Knifed back by Chwalinska. Forwarded up the middle Andreeva. Defended back by Chwalinska. Flex cross-court Andreeva. Backhand Chwalinska. Low ball that Andreeva had to lunge for. Big forehand Chwalinska going for it. Andreeva defends it back. High looping ball. Chwalinska lets it drop. And then mishits the forehand. She was in control of that point, but she strikes the forehand long, and she'll be left disappointed with that miss. And she probably will unload a little bit more and try to go for it more as Andreeva serves up the tee. Chwalinska makes the return. Backing up the line, Andreeva. Steered back up the middle, Chwalinska. Cross-court, Andreeva. Chwalinska pops it back. Off forehand, Andreeva. Full sprint here, Chwalinska. And taking that high ball out of the air at the net and slapping a winner away is Andreeva. Perfect timing to come to the net. 40-15. Andreeva looking for a confident hold of serve to start this set, which would send a message after the way serving went for most of that first. Missed the first serve, here's the second. Chwalinska on the backhand return up the middle, pushes Andreeva back. Cross-court backhand into the net from Chwalinska, and Andreeva holds. Good start to set number 2 for Mirra Andreeva. And Maja Chwalinska will need to find some answers here to keep this Cinderella run going into a third set of the final. Only the second set that she has dropped in this tournament. That includes qualifying. She dropped the first set of her third-round match to Maria Sakkari. And that's all. Andreeva also has dropped just one set. Chwalinska at the near end, serving up the tee. Andreeva lines up the return, muscled back by Chwalinska. Forehand nudged up the middle from Andreeva, and Chwalinska's off backhand Drifts wide. Chwalinska readies herself here. This feels like a must-hold kind of a game. Serves to the backhand of Andreeva. Cross-court backhand by Chwalinska. Andreeva picks it up. Forehand up the middle, Chwalinska. Up the line from Andreeva, the backhand. Shoveled back by Chwalinska. Big forehand winner from Andreeva, who is starting to take full command of this match now. Mirra Andreeva has arrived off the bus. Love 30. And Chwalinska facing a lot of pressure here. Here she goes. Toss up, serve down. Forehand reply, Andreeva sharp. Cross-court forehand, Chwalinska. Big backhand up the line, Andreeva. Stretched back out by Chwalinska. Cross-court forehand by Andreeva, who then takes the ball out of the air. Chwalinska passes her with a backhand winner. Up the line, she squeezes it by Andreeva, who had come to the net. Gets past. Again, Chwalinska starting this tournament ranked 114th. Career high ranking of 113. That was just a month ago. But is guaranteed to be top 25 in the world no matter what happens in this match. Missed the first serve. If she loses the match, she'll be 21st. If she comes back to win it, she will vault exactly 100 places from 114 to 14. Kick serve out wide. Andreeva slaps the return back. Forehand up the middle from Chwalinska, who now goes with a drop shot that skids back to the Andreeva forehand, which she scooped on. Chwalinska rather, digs it out but misses it long. And Andreeva will have 2 break points here. With one hand on the trophy. Second hand is about to grasp it as well, it would seem. Break points. And Chwalinska falls into a serve out wide. Andreeva gets it back. Short ball back with the Chwalinska forehand, but Andreeva staggered to it and then shoveled it well long. Looked like her feet got stuck in the clay there a bit, trying to get up to that ball. Still a break point. Chwalinska at the near end. Serves to the forehand of Andreeva. Backpedaling forehand. Chwalinska hits it to the baseline. Looped back in Andreeva. Chwalinska throws her body into a cross-court backhand. Andreeva defends it back. Picked up the middle by Chwalinska. Up the line Andreeva. Backhand by Chwalinska. Andreeva scoops a forehand. Looping ball by Chwalinska. Lazy backhand Andreeva. Cross-court backhand Chwalinska to the forehand of Andreeva. Big backhand by Chwalinska. Forked back by Andreeva. Up the middle goes Chwalinska. Oh, and Andreeva backhand up the line. She's just marginally missed that wide. She would like the chair umpire to go out and take a look. He will. And confirms that it did land wide. Couple of break points crucially saved by Chwalinska. We're at deuce. Chwalinska in her sunshine yellow top, with the sunshine bathing down on top of court. Philippe Chatrier misses the first serve. Second serve upcoming. Chwalinska puts it down up the tee. Andreeva with a backhand return up the middle. Big forehand by Chwalinska. Andreeva defends it back. Chwalinska kind of creeping inside the baseline, but she hits an off forehand wide. Andreeva with another chance. Neither of these players taking very long at all between serves, as long as the wind isn't kicking up. Here's Chwalinska facing another break point. She saved 2 in this game. Slices that serve, spinning away from Andreeva. It's wide. Once more from Chwalinska. Serve to the backhand of Andreeva. Shuffleboarded up the middle from Chwalinska just inside the baseline. No, it landed long, or at least Andreeva thinks it did. She has stopped the point. Calls for the chair umpire. Chair umpire comes down to confirm that it did miss long. It did miss the baseline, and Andreeva has claimed the break. Mirra Andreeva up a set and a break now, with a Grand Slam title most certainly within reach. Andreeva serves. Missed the first serve long. Here comes the second serve from Mirra. Puts it down to the backhand of Chwalinska. Forehand whisked up the line from Andreeva. Defended back Chwalinska. Off forehand Andreeva. Shoveled on back. Backhand by Andreeva. Shoved up the line Chwalinska. Cross court Andreeva. Chwalinska on the sprint. Short ball back. Taken out of the air by Andreeva. But she has pushed that backhand well long. Taking it out of the air. Left 15. Andreeva serves. Gathered in by the forehand of Chwalinska. Backpedaling forehand up the line in the ad court from Andreeva. Chwalinska defends it back. Angled by Andreeva. Drop shot Chwalinska. It's perfect. Andreeva catches it with her left hand off the bounce and throws it back away on the other side of the net. And Chwalinska might have to throw that drop shot in more and more as this match goes on to try to get back into it. Been a couple of times she hasn't disguised it too well today as she has been over the last 2 weeks, and I'm not sure if that one was disguised all that well, but it was perfectly hit. Love 30, perhaps an opening to get the break back here. She broke the Andreeva serve twice in the first set. Serve to the backhand here. Return by Chwalinska, lands to the backhand of Andreeva up the line. Up the line goes Chwalinska, and Andreeva slices a backhand into the net, and all of a sudden, here we go, Chwalinska with 3 opportunities to break back, would you believe? Andreeva has won the last 5 games. Serves to the forehand of Chwalinska. Andreeva off forehand, galloped to by Chwalinska, who throws up a defensive lob that does not make it to the net. Andreeva saves a break point. 2 more to go. Andreeva at the far end. Serves out wide. Backhand shoveled back by Chwalinska. Forwarded forehand by Andreeva with good pace. Chwalinska gets it back. Oh, Chwalinska wanted to come into the net, I think. She stepped into a backhand, hit it deep, but hit it too deep. Two break points saved by Mirra Andreeva. Another one to go. Serves to the backhand of Chwalinska, who steps to the baseline. Andreeva's forehand off the let cord. Ricochets to the forehand of Chwalinska. Directed back by Andreeva. Up the middle, Chwalinska forehand. Middle of the court this rally. Now steered cross court by Chwalinska, who goes with the backhand up the line. Cross court backhand Andreeva. Chwalinska on the defensive. And that forehand just lands wide. And from love 40, Andreeva has staved off 3 break points. We strike the 1 hour mark of this final. Andreeva serves again. Out wide. Chwalinska bunts the return back. Andreeva turns a backhand up the line. High lob from Chwalinska. Overhead Andreeva. Chwalinska still in this. Tries to pass her. Andreeva's there with a volley. Chwalinska sprints to it somehow. Andreeva guides a backhand up the middle. Chwalinska's still there. Fights it off. But Andreeva steps into a backhand winner, which she uncorks down the line. Spectacular rally Chwalinska doesn't know when to quit. But Andreeva never panicked, despite having to hit at least 2, maybe even 3 extra balls there that perhaps she wouldn't have had to hit against anyone else. 4 points in a row here for Andreeva. Serves up the tee, directed back by Chwalinska. Big forehand Andreeva. Up the line, Chwalinska long looping backhand, lands long. Mirra Andreeva with a crucial hold of serve. And perhaps a back-breaking comeback in that game from Andreeva for Chwalinska, who had so many chances to break right back. Andreeva with a hand on the trophy. Head and shoulders clear now of Maja Chwalinska in this Roland Garros final. If you are just finding the Ultimate Sports Media Network on your YouTube journey, glad to have you with us. If you like what you see, and more importantly, you like what you hear, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell to get notified anytime we go live. And if you are new to the channel and you're a new subscriber, obviously we do have on here a limit that you have to be a subscriber for to be able to comment. That, of course, to try to weave through all of the bots that love to leave comments of links to be able to watch whatever we're live streaming. So apologies for having that barrier in there. Do bear with us on that. But if you're a new subscriber, glad to have you with us, and hope you'll be with us for a long time to come. Maja Chwalinska really up against it now, down a set and 3-love in this final on the Terre Bateau in Paris. Just over an hour into the final, Chwalinska has now dropped 9 games in a row. Serves to the backhand of Andreeva, who puts it up the middle. Chwalinska deep backhand, fought off by Andreeva, stepping into a forehand. Chwalinska, she's at the net, and Andreeva passes her as she knifes a cross-court backhand winner. And Mirra Andreeva is in full control, not only of the match, but also of her play. It was a very shaky start, but Mirra has responded extremely well. All this made about Chwalinska's breakthrough run here, but this is also Andreeva's first Grand Slam final appearance. Backhand return Andreeva, stashed up the middle by Chwalinska, up the line of forehand by Andreeva, backhand Chwalinska, oh, and Andreeva, she's hitting her spots now. Backhand winner up the line in the deuce court. It's love 30. And you get the feeling that the finish line is just ahead here. Chwalinska serves, swatted back by Andreeva, dug out cross-court by Chwalinska, up the middle Andreeva, scooped up the middle by Chwalinska, cross-court the backhand Andreeva, up the line but short from Chwalinska, cross-court forehand Andreeva, Chwalinska directs it back, Andreeva hits a forehand winner up the line. This is turning into a landslide that Chwalinska doesn't have the power to stop. In less than 2 minutes in this game, it's love 40. Chwalinska at the far end. Toss up, serve down, misses long. Perhaps the Cinderella run close to ending here. Second serve is there. Andreeva powers a return back. Oh, Chwalinska slides into that forehand that lands wide, and Andreeva quickly, in a game that took only 2 minutes, breaks to love. The crowd now trying to applaud Chwalinska and pick her back up mentally. But this has been one-way traffic here in the second set, and really has been ever since the middle of the first. Andreeva is 2 games from the finish line. Toss up, serve down. Backhand reply by Chwalinska. It's deep. It's too deep. Sixth time in this match that Andreeva has broken the Chwalinska serve. And now total points won in this final is Andreeva 50 and Chwalinska 30. Andreeva serves, backhand reply by Chwalinska. Put up the line, Andreeva. Directed back by Chwalinska, cross court. Forehand up the line, ad court corner, Andreeva. Defended back, Chwalinska, and Andreeva lines a forehand into the net. Serve out wide by Andreeva. Chwalinska shovels it back. Cross-court forehand by Andreeva. Trying to go backdoor. Short ball back by Chwalinska. Out of the air. It's swiped for a winner by Andreeva. Takes it out of the air with her forehand. Kills it into the deuce court corner. In full flight here, Mirra Andreeva. Into the service motion, Andreeva serves to the forehand of Chwalinska, backpedaling forehand, middle of the court, Andreeva, steered cross-court, Chwalinska, scooped back by Andreeva, sliced backhand by Chwalinska, scooped back by Andreeva again, big backhand, sharp angle, Chwalinska, Andreeva gets it back, another cross-court backhand by Chwalinska, Andreeva, a squash shot, up the line, Chwalinska, Andreeva sprints to it, high looping lob, lands just inside the baseline, and Chwalinska wires a forehand into the net. And points for 5-love. Andreeva starting to beat Chwalinska at her own game here. It took a while for it all to click for Mirra in this match, but it finally has. She serves up the tee, one of her best serves of the day. Chwalinska fights it off, and Andreeva at the net makes a mess of the overhead and puts it into the net. 117 mile per hour serve. Surely her biggest of the day. She only has one ace. It's the only ace of the match. Andreeva, toss up, serve down, up the tee, backhand Chwalinska, ripped back by Andreeva, backhand up the middle, it's short from Chwalinska, Andreeva gobbles it up, stashes away the backhand winner, deuce court corner. Mirra Andreeva, a game away from the Suzanne Longland Cup, as she is in full command of this Roland Garros final. Fantastic qualifier, Maja Chwalinska serving to stay in. Roland Garros serves to the forehand of Mirra Andreeva. Backpedaling backhand by Chwalinska. Andreeva forehand up the gut. Short ball by Chwalinska. Gotten to and then swatted into the net from Andreeva. The 19-year-old from Russia on the precipice of a first slam title that many believe will be the first of many. Forehand return, deep backhand Chwalinska. Andreeva sprints it back. Deep ball, Chwalinska picks it up. Sharp forehand Andreeva, shoveled back by Chwalinska. Cross-court Andreeva, slice backhand by Chwalinska. Cross-court Andreeva steers it back. Cross-court the backhand Chwalinska. Up the middle from Andreeva. Picked up the line by Chwalinska, and then Andreeva shoots a forehand long. Chwalinska gets to love 30. It's 8 games in a row here for Mirra Andreeva. From 3-all in the first set to finishing that set 6-3, and now up here in the second set 5-love. At the near end, it's Chwalinska serving out wide. Andreeva scoops it back. Middle of the court, backing up the line Chwalinska, and up the line Andreeva overcooks the backhand. Chwalinska at 40-love. She has lost a game when serving at 40-love in this set. But I think everyone hopes for Maja here that she can at least get a game on the board in this set. Up with the toss, down with the serve, up the tee. Up the middle and short from Andreeva, and then a forehand cranked well wide of the doubles alley from Chwalinska. (40-15). Hour 12 into this final. And Chwalinska serves to the forehand of Andreeva. Backhand is wound back by Chwalinska. Up the line Andreeva. Scooped back defensively by Chwalinska. Directed with an off forehand for Andreeva. And up with a defensive lob. Chwalinska has it land long. And Andreeva starting to force her way back into this return game from 40-love as well. (40-30). Maja Chwalinska serves out wide. Andreeva returns backhand up the middle. Cross-court forehand trying to go backdoor. Chwalinska defensive shot back by Andreeva. Cross-court forehand Chwalinska. Andreeva sprints side to side to get it back, but it lands wide, and Chwalinska does get on the board in the second set. But now, Mirra Andreeva serves for a first Grand Slam title. Trying to become the first teenager to win this title since Monica Seles. Serves out wide. Chwalinska lines up a backhand return. Forehand up the middle from Andreeva. Gotten back by Chwalinska. Big forehand Andreeva. Up the line Chwalinska. Steered back by Andreeva. Two-fisted backhand Chwalinska. Cross-court forehand Andreeva. And the backhand cross-court and wide from Chwalinska. Talked earlier how Mirra Andreeva, it feels like she's been on the tennis scene for a long time, but here she is still at just 19 years old. Toss up, serve down, up the tee. Chwalinska, two-fisted backhand return, up the line. Andreeva throws a backhand long, wide rather. And spending all of this time this year on clay, paying dividends here. Andreeva serves out wide. Chwalinska cross-court backhand return. It's wide. Chair umpire's going to come down and take a look to confirm the spot. And it looks like it was on the line. Point will be replayed. Andreeva at the far end. Big serve. Fought off by Chwalinska up the middle. Backpedaling forehand by Andreeva. Steered back cross-court Chwalinska. Up the line Andreeva forehand. Flexed on back by Chwalinska. Big backhand Andreeva. Slice back by Chwalinska. Drop shot that Andreeva gets to. She comes to the net. Chwalinska half volley pick up with the lob. Andreeva's there. Over the shoulder. Flicks it away. 2 points away. She made the semifinals here at age 17 2 years ago. Serves up the middle. Backhand return Chwalinska. Andreeva takes her time and then lines up a backhand, which she whacks into the net. This was already her third time going quarterfinals or longer at the French Open. She's only played 4 times at Roland Garros. Quarterfinals or better in 3 of the 4. Serve to the forehand of Chwalinska up the middle. Andreeva big forehand. Chwalinska defends it back. Andreeva steps into a cross-court backhand. Chwalinska directs it back. Andreeva big forehand into the deuce court corner, and it just lands long. Chwalinska with a break point. As Andreeva tries to run through the tape to the finish line here. High ball toss, serve down out wide. Chwalinska returns it back softly. Up the line, Andreeva backhand. Chwalinska sprints to it and shovels it wide. We're at deuce. Andreeva once more 2 points away. She has played prodigiously since it was 3-all in the first set. Serve out wide. Chwalinska's backhand return is long. No, it's wow, I thought it was long. Wow, we continue going. I thought Andreeva was going to stop play. And Andreeva ends up hitting a backhand into the net. Chwalinska's going to have another break point. Andreeva with a bit of a hesitation there. Boy, she's taking no time at all, though. Going to serve again. Forehand of Chwalinska up the line. Andreeva cranks a forehand wide. Chwalinska gets a break. So Chwalinska keeps this final going. Against the run of play there to get that break. Back in a moment. Chwalinska with a break of serve that certainly was against the run of play. Crowd trying to get behind the Cinderella story. Chwalinska once again, as she will serve now at 2-5 in this second set. She had lost 8 games in a row. Now she's won 2 in a row. Chwalinska serves up the tee, misses the mark marginally. Andreeva still a game away, digs her heels in on the baseline. Chwalinska at the far end, serves to the backhand that's directed by Andreeva and into the net from Chwalinska as she knocks the forehand into the mesh. Andreeva had to be thinking now that she'd be lifting the trophy at this point. That last game getting away from her as the match clock strikes 80 minutes. Chwalinska serves, good depth on it. Just missed it, though, apparently. Didn't miss it by much. Again, takes absolutely no time between serves unless the wind gives her problems. Chwalinska going to rise top 25 in the world after this amazing run. Serve to the backhand of Andreeva. Sharp-angled return. Backhand by Chwalinska, and Andreeva steps into a backhand, which she strikes beautifully with good string music up the line for a winner. Love 30 here. Andreeva 2 points away again. Andreeva turns her head away as the wind picks up and starts to kick up some clay. Now Chwalinska ready to serve, does so into the net. Second serve, Chwalinska. Serving to the backhand of Andreeva. Chwalinska throws a backhand deep. Forehand up the middle, Andreeva. Oh, and Chwalinska's forehand is wired into the net, and now Mirra Andreeva. She arrives at her first ever Grand Slam championship point. The teenage prodigy about to uphold all of the expectation that was thrust upon her. Chwalinska, toss up, serve down. Andreeva, backhand return up the middle. Backpedaling forehand, Chwalinska at short. Andreeva off forehand. Chwalinska directs it back at short. Andreeva cross court, backhand winner! Strikes it cross court. She falls to the ground. And we have found a teenage titan on the Terra Batu. Mirra Andreeva is a Grand Slam champion at age 19. Mirra Andreeva, the teenage prodigy, the child prodigy, lives up to the hype, lives up to the expectation. She is the Roland Garros champion. And for Maja Chwalinska, a run that we will never, ever forget. And a name that we won't soon forget either, because she seems to be heading towards big, big things. She will rise up top 25 in the world from being outside the top 100. But today belongs to Mirra Andreeva, who has found her player's box, which includes her coach, Conchita Martinez, who of course won this title 26 years ago, won 3 Grand Slam titles, and her guidance has helped Mirra Andreeva rise to superstardom. A championship-winning moment for Mirra Andreeva on the red clay on court Philippe Chatrier. What a new champion we have. And many believe it will be the first of many for Mirra. and the dog in the player's box too. That's fantastic to see. Very good. You love dogs around here. For Maja Chwalinska, the toughest part of tennis is when losing on a stage like this. Have to sit around and watch the celebration and then wait for the trophy ceremony. But there is just absolutely nothing absolutely nothing for Maja Chwalinska to hang her head about. What an incredible run. Just incredible. Rises up, as I mentioned, from 114 in the world to 21, which gives her an incredible opportunity to be a seeded player at Wimbledon in just a few weeks, which would be so enormous. Another teenage champion at Roland Garros. She joins a great line of players that won this title in their teenage years. The first to do it since Monica Seles, who did it 3 times, of course, in 90, 91, and 92. Chrissy Evert did it. Of course, what an incredible achievement for Mirra Andreeva, who has shouldered the pressure of being the next big thing, the next great thing in the sport of tennis. So Mirra Andreeva takes the crown. French Open champion for the 19-year-old from Russia. And she will lift the Coupe Suzanne Lenglen. And what a bright, bright future she has. She's going to be a lot more of these to come. What a match she played. It was a bit of a sluggish, stuttered start. It was 3-all in the first set, where neither player could seem to hold their serve. And then from 3-all in that first, Andreeva won 9 of the last 11 games. Wraps it up in under an hour and a half. And Mirra Andreeva is our newest Grand Slam champion. She was a quarterfinalist at Wimbledon a year ago. We'll see what she has left in the tank to make a run with on the grass here in just a few weeks. But for today on the red clay, it's Mirra Andreeva's day. And a great future lies ahead of both of these two. 19-year-old Andreeva overcomes 24-year-old Chwalinska in the final. Trophy ceremony upcoming on Court Philippe Chatrier, where Mirra Andreeva will lift a Grand Slam trophy for the first time. She spent so much time on the clay this season. This is her 22nd match win on clay this year, much more than anyone else. She leads the WTA Tour in clay wins. She also leads the tour in total match wins for 2026, but this one is the biggest of her life. So glad you were able to join us today. Again, if you're new to the channel, you enjoyed what you saw, and most importantly enjoyed and liked what you heard, be sure to hit the subscribe button, the notification bell to get notified when we go live, as we will have plenty of coverage from Wimbledon for you in a few weeks. Coming up later tonight on the channel, it's Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Vegas Golden Knights. Tomorrow morning, the men's final here from Roland Garros, and what a men's tournament it's been as well. But it's Alexander Zverev trying to finally win a Grand Slam title as he takes on the Italian Flavio Cavalli. We will see you tonight for hockey, tomorrow morning for the men's final here, and then, of course, tomorrow afternoon, NASCAR races in Michigan. For everyone here, Matthew Owens signing off. Huge thank you for joining us. Great to have you with us. Hope to see you in the future. It's finished in a topsy-turvy tournament here at Roland Garros, and it's Mirra Andreeva at age 19 taking the French Open title over Maja Chwalinska.